श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्यां मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तो ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः In the Kena Upanishad, which is a very unique Upanishad because the teachings of Brahma Vidya are given right away in the first two chapters, where the Guru explains how the Brahma Tattvam is not an object which one can experience in time, which is conditioned in time and space, but it is the invisible, all-pervading principle of pure consciousness, which is the ear of the ear, eye of the eye, mind of the mind, and so on, prana of the prana. Then we saw how the students are highly qualified Uttamadhikari students, and they do not only Shravanam but Mananam. And in the second chapter, they say, Naham Manye. Yes, we do not know Brahman as an object, but Suveda iti. Yes, but still we know. So we know Brahma as oneself. Yeah. And the Atma Tattvam. So that also is over. Shravanam, Mananam is over in the first two chapters. No? Then the Shruti, that is the Upanishad, understands out of compassion that there are various degrees of maturity and adhikaritvam. So not everybody will be able to grasp the teachings given in such a direct manner. And so we saw the Shruti narrating the story centered on the Devatas in chapter 3. How the Yaksha mysteriously appears and challenges Agni and Vayu, and then disappears, and then Uma Devi appears and she gives the Brahma Vidya to Indra, and who gains the Atma Jnanam. Yeah. Then again after that, after all the Upadesha, how to actually know and assimilate the Brahma Tattvam. So there we saw Upanishad presents four unique upasanas. Yeah, the first upasana is, may one meditate on the glory of Brahma Vidya, which is like the flash of lightning. Then another example given was the blinking of the eyes. Yeah, and how one can understand the nature of the Jagat Karanam, and which is the Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya Karanam, like even the opening and closing of the eyes. How the Vyaktam Jagat goes back to Avyaktam and back again to Vyaktam in eternal cycles. Then we saw two upasanas centered on the individual. Adhyatma upasanas, very unique again. The third upasana was a very subtle, thought-based upasana. Upasana is what? Saguna Brahma Dhyanam. That is, we meditate on the formless Paramatattvam, but using an alambanam. So here the alambanam was thought. So how the mind is contemplating on the thought itself, and the mind moves away from the variable Namarupa thoughts, the vrittis, and engages itself or dwells on the invariable component of every thought. And that is Sat or Chit. Sat, Chit, that is the invariable constant. So that is the Vedantic contemplation. Then the last upasana given in this Upanishad is on. In fact, that upasana is very much practiced and very popular in our culture, to meditate upon Ishvara as Ananta Kalyana Guna Sampannaha Ishvaraha. So we take a guna, and here the guna was Vanam Shabda, Tat Vanam Nama, to meditate on the glory of that supreme adorable being. So Brahma is presented, named with the Nama Vanam. So one can choose any alambanam to meditate on the Brahma Tattva. It can be one's Ishtadevata with great devotion, or Surya Upasana, or Mantra Upasana, or simply on oneself, on any word or image or a sound structure. So those 4 upasanas are also over, and it was pointed out how such a person who meditates on the glory of that supreme reality which has manifested as everything, then how can one claim any glory to oneself? Because everything is given. So such a person who contemplates on the Vanam-like Brahma Tattvam becomes Vanam-like. So it becomes a source of great strength and comfort and peace. The Sarvani Bhutani Samvanchanti. So all the people will flock and will seek the presence of such a person, and they love to be in his presence. Yeah, because he has become a vibhuti, a glory by himself, by meditating on the Vanam like Brahma Tattva. So now we are in the concluding section of the Kena Upanishad. And here an unusual situation happens. Now we know that all the teachings are over, and also for the Uttamadhikari it's over. The story is given for the Madhyamadhikaris, and then Upasanas are given. So what remains? It looks like it's complete, but one student gets up. We have to imagine the student gets up and asks a doubt, and that is the mantra number 7. So let us see what that doubt is. So one of the students, we have to imagine, gets up and asks, Upanishadam bho bruhi, Upanishadam bho bruhi, ityukta te Upanishad brahmi vava, te Upanishadam abruma iti. Upanishadam bho bruhi ityukta te Upanishad brahmi vavate Upanishadam abruma iti. So here the teacher feels that the teaching is over, yeah, the guru. But now the student gets up, and what does the student say? Addresses the teacher and says, Ho, hey guru, Upanishadam bruhi. Teach me the Upanishad. Tell me the Upanishad. Then you can imagine the guru would be surprised. Yeah. And this is like that situation where Sampurna Ramayana Ketapram, one will ask, what is the sambandha between Rama and Sita? Or another person asked, I followed the Ramayana well, but who is the Asura? Is it Sri Rama or Ravana? So, which clearly means that that person was not paying attention. Now, is that the case with the student? After the teaching is over, the student says, Bho, hey Guru, teach me the Upanishad. Let's find out. So what does the Guru say? Iti ukta te Upanishadam. Yeah. Now this Upanishad, te means tava. To you, it has been told in the previous chapters. And what kind of Upanishad teachings? Brahmi. Now Brahmi means the teachings that are centered or connected with Brahma. Yeah, that reveal Brahma Tattvam. So Brahmi Upanishad te iti ukta has been already taught. Guru's response. Brahmi goes with Upanishad Shabda because both have to have feminine endings. So this Brahmi Upanishad te iti ukta, vava, indeed, indeclinable, te Upanishadam abruma iti. So abruma is we, So the Guru does not say I taught you, but we, identifying with the whole Guru Parampara and the Shastras, we have taught abruma te tava Upanishadam. So this is the situation of the student. Now we have to remember that, on the face value, it appears meaningless. Because, why should the student say, yes, I have understood Brahma is not an object, but it is oneself, and then towards the end, say, teach me the Upanishad. So here, Shankaracharya explains what is the real intention of the student. Yeah. Why does he ask this question? And so the intention of the student is here that even though the teachings appear complete, yeah, so the student thinks maybe there is some follow-up action to be done. Something needs to be applied. Yeah, we have heard, no doubt. We have reflected. Shravanam is over, Maranam is over. But is there something, some activity connected with the teachings that one must do now? Some yoga techniques, some upasana, further upasanas, some karma? That would have been the doubt of the student who has raised this question. No? In fact, this is a very popular understanding in the world. Many people think, oh, Vedanta and Jnana Yoga is so abstract. It is very intellectual and very theoretical. In school, we all would have had these lessons in physics and chemistry. So there is a theory portion and there is a lab practical portion. Yeah. Or let's take the example of cooking. We learn about a recipe, but then we have to collect the ingredients and actually translate it into practice to make the dish. Or yogic techniques, we learn all about Bhastrika, Pranayama and Ujjayi and all. But just knowing, hearing the techniques is not enough. We have to actually do it. So this is the mindset of the student that prompted the question. That is something left out. Something more needs to be added, oh Guru. I would like to know. Now, what is the answer here? Jnanameva moksha. There is nothing else to be done. Why? Because the knowledge of Brahma Tattvam itself is moksha. And so this is the liberating knowledge. Shravanam, Maranam, Nididhyasnam, and just Shravanam is the direct means of to moksha. This is going to be the answer of the Shruti. Now, why, if we ask, let's take the very famous example of the rope snake. Now, the rope was mistaken to be a snake. Then there's a fear of snake. Then what did I do? Did I perform any action to remove that snake? Did I, bring a stick and then lift the snake and put it away? Did I chant Garuda Puranas or did I do Garudasana? Yeah, was any action performed? No. But what happened? In the event of more light, I discovered, I understood, I recognized the underlying adhara, the rope. So that discovery eliminated the snake. The snake buddhi went away and Rajju buddhi is back. So this is called jnanam. That rope jnanam eliminated the samsara symbolized by the snake. So the Shruti is going to say that jnanameva moksha. There is no other karmas or upasanas needed for this Jiva Ishvara Aikya Jnanam. Yeah. Then another example often quoted is the dream example, which also we have seen many times. Now in the dream, I go through sukham and dukkham, varieties of experiences. But on waking up, do I have any follow-up action? Can I credit the money that I earned in the dream into my bank account? Then if I got injured in the dream, will I go and consult a doctor in the waking state? No. So on waking up, the entire dream is negated. And so the Guru and the Shastra are going to say, no, one has to wake up. Wake up from the worldly life and discover that Atma Tattvam, which can happen in a flash, as a flash of lightning for a mature mind. Samskrita Manas. Yeah. Now, Vedanta does not dismiss the role of karmas. We have seen the whole Vedas. The maximum portion is about karmas, voluminous karma kanda, and very small portion on Vedanta and Upanishads. So, what is the role of karma? Karma dominates the first 50% of our lives. Up to 50 years, 60 years, karma is bound to be there. Yeah. And so, what does Vedanta say? All the karmas and the upasanas, yeah. What are they? What is their role? Chitta Shodhakas. Chitta Shodhakas are the karmas performed as Ishwararpanam, as with Karma Yoga Buddhi, will purify the mind from malam. The malam of Raga, Dvesha, Kama, Krodha. But the main malam is Ahankara, Mamakara. This is me and this is mine. The Deha Abhimana will be thinned out. Then the oscillations of the mind, how distracted the mind is, that will be removed by upasanas. So upasanas makes the mind more and more one-pointed. So this is the role of karmas, chitta shodhakas. And now with a pure and steady mind, we would have the adhikaritvam to come to the jnana dwaram. And then what happens? Then Guru Prapti, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasnam. So Shravanam is the systematic listening, as you all are doing, for a length of time to the Shruti Vakya on Brahma Tattvam. And for a mature student, this alone is sufficient. And that understanding will happen as a flash. Nothing more needs to be done. But generally, Shravanam will be followed up with Mananam, because doubts will be there. So Samshaya Nivritti has to happen. And then Nididhyasanam is done to really enjoy the Jnana Phalam. How can I enjoy being Brahma? Yeah, free from Anishtam, free from anxiety. In fact, everybody wants that. Yeah, wants to be free from grief and anxiety. So that is the Phalam of Nididhyasanam. But really, even in that triple sadhana, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, Shravanam is the Angi, the main primary means. Very, very important. And repeated Shravanam is going to make the mind very subtle and one-pointed. And even Gita, you would have noticed, second round, third round, fourth round, we understand deeper and deeper tattvam of the same grantha, the Gita. So this is the role of karma to karma and upasanas. Upasanas only manasika karmas to give us a samskrita manas, adhikari manas. And we can imagine the mind is often compared to a mirror. Now, if the mirror is dusty or broken, or shaking, how will the reflection be? Again, dusty, unclear, shaky, hazy reflection. But if the mind, mirror-like mind, is clean, cleansed by all these karma yogas and upasanas, then the reflection is very bright. And so, the Shruti is implying here that for such a Uttama Adhikari student, just listening to Tattvamasi Shruti Vakya maybe just once is enough. But for those who are not at the level of an Achiketa, then there are supplementary accessory actions. We have to re-examine our priorities in life. Yeah. What are the karmas? Are they productive in my life? Am I, performing all my actions, keeping in mind moksha purushartha as the end? Yeah. Am I doing it with Ishwararpanam bhavana? All these examinations. And so we upgrade the mind in order to receive, to be able to receive finally the Brahma Jnanam. Yeah. So the Shruti recognizes that there will be Uttama Adhikaris and Madhyama Adhikaris and Manda Adhikaris. So it is not being judgmental, that Uttama Adhikaris are superior to Manda Adhikaris. No. So knowledge will happen in its own sweet time. And in Atma Bodha, did we not see how fire is the primary means to cook. But other accessories we need, like vessels and spices and oil and all those, but they are secondary. Yeah. So too, the Vedas tell us that the Vaidika religious life of devotion to Ishvara is going to prepare the mind and make us bigger and bigger and more mature in order to discover and receive the knowledge of the whole. In some janma, it is going to happen. Yeah. So already we are blessed to do Shravanam of the Upanishads, which is definitely not easy. So this is the doubt of the student, that perhaps I have to do something. Yeah. And Paramarthananda ji will say, for a Uttama Adhikari, the Guru just has to say Tattvamasi, done. For a Madhyama Adhikaris, there will be Upasanas and Gayatri Japa. And for the Manda Adhikaris, you may want to go on a pilgrimage, yatra, karma yoga. So like that, various sadhanas are prescribed depending on the stage of the student. Yeah. So that is about this mantra number 7. Upanishadam bho bruhi iti uktate Upanishad brahmi vavate Upanishadam abhruma iti. Now, the next mantra, we are going to see, then what are the sadhanas? How to, make my mind Samskrita mind, the Adhikari mind. So now the Shruti is going to present some sadhanas for living a conscious, alert life. Yeah? And that is the mantra number 8. So the idea here is that karmas are not at all irrelevant. Karmas are very important. They are necessary, but they are not sufficient. Yeah, they bring us to the intermediate goal of Chitta Shuddhi. And then we have to still approach the Guru and start the Shravanam. So now let us look at mantra number 8. तस्य तपोदमः कर्मेति प्रतिष्ठा तस्य तपोदमः कर्मेति प्रतिष्ठा वेदा सर्वाङ्गानि सत्यमायतनं वेदा सर्वाङ्गानि सत्यमायतनं तस्य तपोदमः कर्मेति प्रतिष्ठा वेदा सर्वाङ्गानि सत्यमायतनम्. Now, tasya is Chandasam. No, I told you sometimes the Vedic Sanskrit will be different from the Sanskritam we know. So, what is the topic under discussion? Brahma Vidya. Okay, so Brahma Vidya being feminine, we will change the tasya to tasyaha. So, for that, for Brahma Vidya to really receive it in its full glory, what must I do? This was, remember, the student's question. And now, you see how Upanishad, even though the teachings are complete, Upanishad is over, but still it has created a situation to bring in the Vaidika Marga, to bring in the sadhanas needed to upgrade the mind and to gain that maturity, Adhikari mind. So, Tasyaha. Now here 5 factors are going to be listed out. Tapas, tapaha, damaha, karma, iti, pratishtha. Pratishtha means support. Yeah, the basis. Then what else? Vedaha, sarvangani, the 4 Vedas and the Angas. We know the Shadangas of the Vedas. Niruktam, Vyakaranam, Jyotish, Kalpa, Chandas, all those auxiliary disciplines. Remember in the Mundaka Upanishad, they all came under Aparavidya. So Vedaha, the 4 Vedas and the Vedangas, and then Satyam. Satyam is very, very important. That is the Ayatanam. Ayatana means abode, the home. In fact, all the Shastras, especially Upanishads, talk about how important Satyam is. It is said in some Smriti that if we weigh Satyam on one side and 1,000 Ashwamedha Yajnas on the other side, Satyam will go down. And that is why we have Satyameva Jayate engraved on the parliament, and it has come in the Mundaka Upanishad also. Truth alone triumphs. So here this mantra is going to talk about how the Satyam is the Pratishtha, is the foundation upon which we have to build our life. If the life is like a building, multi-storied building, then the foundation is Satyam. If there is no Satyam, no intellectual honesty, no integrity, no Rijibhavaha, it's going to crumble. And one will never be able to receive the Brahma Vidya. The Satyam is very important. But before that, we'll come to the other factors. So, tasyaha tapas damaha karma iti pratishtha. Vedaha sarvangani satyam ayatanam. So now, Shruti is saying, what is the solution to assimilate the Paramajnanam? It is to live a very conscious, alert, intelligent life of devotion to Ishvara. What am I speaking? Am I speaking too much? What am I doing in life? Yeah, my daily life, comes under my radar. So I have to reorganize the priorities. Now let's take karmas. Now karma is here referring to the Nitya Naimittika karmas. Yeah, Nitya karma is mandatory. So our role playing, especially for a grahastha, role playing has to be done in the light of karma yoga. Ishvara Arpanam as a yajna. And Nitya karmas are daily, mandatory, like Sandhya Vandanam, Gayatri Japam, which unfortunately is not being done these days. Yeah, but at least role playing we have to do as an offering to Ishvara. Then Naimittika occasionally, yeah, as the situation asks, like Shraddha, Tarpana, fasting. So Nitya Naimittika karmas are the mandatory duties. And then Pancha Mahayajnas also are considered important karmas for a grahastha. They are the 5 cosmic offerings: Deva Yajna, Pitra Yajna, Brahma Yajna, Manusha Yajna, Bhuta Yajna. So when they are done, then it's an amazing Chitta Shodhaka. Yeah, it will clear the mind and one gets the guidance from within on how one will be guided through the Vaidika Marga to the ultimate goal, Satyam, which is the Ayatanam. So that is the karmas, how to perform a Varnashrama, a duty-based life in the first half of our life, yeah, in a sequential manner. Then Damaha. Damaha we know is Indriya Nigraha, restraint, mastery. So again, Damaha will include Shamaha also. So mastery over the senses, over the body, over the mind by being focused. How will we get the Damaha? By tapas. And tapas is a life of discipline. Yeah, that is why we have all the vratas. Ekadashi vratam, then Sandhya Vandanam is there, Mauna vratam, and Seva. So the Damaha and tapas go hand in hand. And tapas is how can I purify these instruments, the karanas, vak, indriyam, and the mind through all the inner disciplines. And Ramana Maharishi says, what is the highest tapas? Jnana tapas. Yeah. Even as I'm living a religious life of devotion, I have to make sure that I'm moving towards that goal. And that is the Jnana tapas, to stay focused. Yeah. So here it says, if this kind of karma yoga, intelligent living, karma, damaha, shamaha, and tapas is there, then alone what? Brahma Vidya will be there. This is the pratishtha. And notice there is a iti there. Tasyaha tapas damaha karma iti. So Shankaracharya interprets that iti as values and attitudes. Amanitvam Adambittam Ahimsa Kshantirarjavam Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhihi Jnana Yoga Vivastitihi. So Shankaracharya connects with the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13 and chapter 16, where a number of values are given, and that is the iti portion. So all of them are the base of this edifice. You know, if Brahma Vidya or the Veda Purusha is a building like a Purusha, then what are the feet? Karma, Dhamma, Tapas, values, and attitudes. In short, a life of Dharma. Sanatana Dharma, lived as a Vaidika, will be the feet. So the feet have to be very strong, strong foundation. And only then we can build the superstructure of Brahma Vidya. So a person who is given to deceit and cheating and frauds and scams may understand Brahma Vidya at an intellectual level alone, but there will be no real transformation. That nididhyasnam phalam will never happen for such a person. So that is why the importance is given to this pratishtha, to the basis and the support. Then Vedaha Sarvangani. So the 4 Vedas and the Shadangas, they are like the limbs of this Veda Purusha. The limbs are also supporting, just like the feet. Yeah. Then what about Satyam? Satyam is the ayatanam. Yeah. Now in that iti, the values and attitudes, Satyam will automatically also be there. So there are 2 levels of Satyam. One is the relative Satyam. Relative Satyam is truthfulness or Rijubhavaha, straightforwardness in thought, word, and deed. Yeah, that is very important. And only that will give us the emotional growth. The physical growth is going to happen to everybody. Nature will take care of it. But what about the emotional growth? I have to initiate it. And only then it's going to happen. So this Karma Yoga, Tapas and Damaha and Amanitvam, Adambitvam Adi Gunas, absence of demand for respect and lack of integrity, for all these, when we take care, this comes under relative Satyam. But Shankaracharya says here we can take Satyam, when it is said it is Ayatanam, we will take the Paramarthika Satyam. Now Paramarthika Satyam is Abadhita Satyam, the non-negatable truth in the 3 periods of time. That is the Adhara. That is that upon which the whole Jagat rests. Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. So the whole Jagat is resting on that Satyam, which is Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa Atma. So that is the Satyam, which is absolute. Yeah. And that is called Ayatanam. Now, Ayatanam means abode. Yeah. Abode is the goal. Yeah. The goal. And so here the Shruti understands, that Shravanam, although it is the direct means for knowledge and it is sufficient by itself, but yet, one has to prepare oneself. One needs a preparedness, adhikaritvam, samskrita manas for receiving the knowledge. Yeah. So that is why Krishna also in the Gita, if you remember, chapter 3 begins with Lokesmin vividha nishtha pura prokta mayanagha jnana yogena sankyanam karma yogena yoginam. The goal is only one, Satyam. But there are 2 lifestyles. Yeah. For some people, they have already lived a life and gained purity in the past janmas perhaps, and now they're ready for Sankhya Yoga, Jnana Yoga. But for the majority, there is a lifestyle of Karma Yoga. And Karma Yoga will take care of a great amount of turbulence in the mind. That is going to remove the separation between the Jiva and the Ishvara. That is why all the upasanas were given earlier, in the earlier chapters. Yeah. So that is what this mantra talks about, the 5 factors. Yeah. And that is tasyaha tapaha damaha karma iti pratishtha vedaha sarvangani satyam ayatanam. So basically a prayerful religious life of devotion. Devotion to Ishvaraha. Now we come to the last mantra of this Upanishad. Now, this is really the end of the teachings. You can see how Brahma Vidya was already given. And then the student asked a doubt. Yeah. Is there something left out, oh Guru? Yeah. Do I need to know something more? Is there some follow-up action? And then the Shruti has created that situation in order to give us this valuable information about the life, intelligent life of karma, dhamma, tapas, and values and attitudes, which are so important. Yeah. Otherwise, we are just information gathering is happening. Yeah. But there won't be any real transformation. So now in the last mantra, we are going to see the result of this knowledge. What happens when we live an intelligent life of maturity? And what is the Phalashruti? That is, the topic of the last mantra. Let us read that. Mantra 9. यो वा एतामेव वेद यो वा एतामेव वेद एवं वेद अपहत्य पाप्मानम् अनन्ते स्वर्गे लोके जेये प्रतितिष्ठति यो वा एतामेवं वेद अपहत्य पाप्मानम् अनन्ते स्वर्गे लोके जेये प्रतितिष्ठति. So what happens in the end to such a mumukshu? So the sandhis are yaha vai etam evam veda. So the one, who is the one here, yaha? This student, mumukshu, under discussion. Why? Indeed. Yaha, why? Etam. Etam is the content of the Upanishad. Veda. Evam Veda. Evam Veda means in the manner it was taught by the Guru. Yeah. And that is the Guru has taught as the Chakshushaha Chakshuhu, Pranasya Pranaha, Shrotrasya Shrotram, Pratibodha Viditam Matam. In this manner, if one has understood Veda, apahatya, having destroyed what? Papmanam, the papas. And here we'll include punyam also. We'll come to that. Then what happens? Svarge loke jeye pratitishthati. Anante svarge loke pratitishthati. Pratitishthati means well established. Yeah. Will abide, well established, where Svarge Loke, we'll come to that also, Anante Svarge Loke Jege. So now, this is giving us the Phalashruti. So one who desires moksha prapti, the ultimate freedom, this mumukshu or adhikari student, who has gained this knowledge, the knowledge as unfolded by the Guru, Shrotrasya Shrotram, Pratibodha Viditam Matam, will be what? Will be free from the Papa. Now, what is the Papmanam here? The Papmanam here is the seed of samsara. Samsara bija in the form of avidya. Yeah, self-ignorance. And we know that familiar cycle, avidya, kama, karma, karma phalam, papa punyam, janma, and again back to avidya. So the cycle, the eternal cycle of samsara chakra, what is the cause? The cause is avidya. And avidya is beginningless. We do not know when it started. So that is the original sin, they say in Christianity. This is what it is. Self-ignorance. Yeah. Even though anadi, it has a anta. How will it end? Jnanameva mokshaha. By bringing in knowledge. And this knowledge, then what will happen? One will remain well established. Pratitishthati, where Swarge Loke. Now we know the Swarga Lokas, the seven up, they are all conditioned in time and space. Kshine Punya Punarapi Martya Lokam Vishanti. How many times we have heard this? That going to some Swarga Loka is only a kind of spiritual tourism. Yeah, many religions promote it. But there is no eternal heaven. Yeah, even Brahmaloka, subject to time. So Shankaracharya here says that, notice, Anante Swarge Loke Jege. Jege means Param Brahmani, the biggest. Yeah, and Ananta, is infinite. So what would be the infinite Swargaloka? Figurative usage is Atma Jnanam, Moksha Prapti. Yeah, and this is moksha in the form of self-knowledge. The self-knowledge that is Jnanagnina Bhasmasat Kurute. By the fire of knowledge, one has burnt the seed of samsara, which could have germinated into, again, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. So, every Swargaloka is, we know, Anitya, time-bound, yeah, but not Ananta Swargaloka, which is Jege, in this infinite. And that Swargaloka is right here and now in the form of my Swarupananda, Atma Jnanam. And in Atma Jnanam, the Sukham, it does not come and exhausted and gone. Yeah, it is Nitya Swarupa Anandam. So, here, Yahava. So, this Mumukshu, having gained this knowledge from the Guru, Etam Evam Veda, and destroyed the Papa and Punyam. Punyam also we have to include, because if I am seeking Punyam, then I should be ready for Punarapi Jananam. Both Papa and Punyam will manifest as pleasant, unpleasant situations in every Jiva's Janma. So if I want to be free, then I want to be free from both. So Papmanam Apahatya Swarge Loke Jege Pratitishthati Pratitishthati. Pratitishthati is, why is it repeated twice? Firstly, for emphasis. Nischayena, definitely, firmly one will be established only in this manner, by gaining the Atma Jnanam. And the second reason for repetition is, we all know, it marks the end of the Upanishad. It is all Karna Parampara. So the Guru is, chanting and explaining the mantras. So when he would repeat this, the word twice, in a sequence, then it's understood that the class is over and they would get up, do pranams and leave the students. Yeah. So these are the three mantras we saw today about how, even though one may listen to the teachings on Brahma Vidya constantly, yeah, but it may not enter even. It may bounce back. And even if it enters the mind, it will remain for a short time and it's forgotten. Yeah? But if it has to enter, be assimilated and transform, then we have to see what is the state of maturity for the mind. So here, by making the student ask the question, the Shruti is giving us those 5 sadhanas to live a alert, conscious life, yeah, Vaidika life, in order to make the mind pure and steady and Samskrita manas, and in order to receive the Brahma Jnanam, and then Jnanameva Mokshaha. There is liberation or freedom. Yeah. And so thus ends the Kena Upanishad mantras, 35 mantras we saw. It's a short Upanishad, but a very profound Upanishad, and very deep Upanishad also. One student told me that, Amma, this Upanishad is, very simple, very easy. Yeah. And I said, oh, really? It is so easy? And another student said it's very tough. Yeah. Then what is the truth? because we have studied other Upanishads, Kaivalya, Katha Upanishad, and Prashna Upanishad, then the more we would have studied, then this appears easy. Yeah. But had we started with Kena Upanishad, it would be very, very difficult. Eye of the eye, ear of the eye, kind of an abstract, paradoxical language. Yeah. And I remember in Anikatti also, there was one student, a devotee of Puja Swamiji, and doing Shravanam for many years, for maybe 6 or 7 years. And one day he comes to Swamiji and does namaskarams and says, Swamiji, this year you are teaching so clearly. I have understood everything. And Swamiji laughed and told us, have I improved my communication skills? That I teach better, or has the mind of the student got upgraded or improved? No, definitely. It is the mind undergoes a subtle change. Every time we do Shravanam, the mind becomes subtler and subtler to understand this Ati Sukshma topic of Brahma Vidya. Okay? So now we will conclude once again with the Shanti mantras, pathas, and then the Swasti mantras. As per the tradition, Shanti pathas are chanted at the end. Om Apyayantu mamangani vak pranaschakshushrotramadho balamindriyani cha sarvani sarvam brahma upanishadam maham brahma nirakuryam mama brahma nirakarot anirakaranamastvanirakaranam me astu तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहीषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ